The ultimate cricket showdown is coming to ESPN, and MCTV has got you covered. The ICC Cricket World Cup 2024 is here on ESPN and MCTV. Tune into MCTV channels 302 and 308 and don't miss a single six, wicket or heart-pounding moment as top teams vie for the 2024 T20 World Cup. From June 1st to 29th, it's cricket you can't afford to miss. Tune into ESPN on MCTV, and for live radio coverage, tune into 94.7. Catch every moment of the ICC Cricket World Cup T20 action.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Calling all Socaholics! The highly anticipated Soca pop-up party of the season is back! Follow us to a different location every Friday night from 8 p.m. from May 10th to June 14th for the Barbados Lottery White Oak Rum 98.1 The One Soca Stop pop-up party. We bring you the music and giveaways, and you bring the vibes and the action.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From 98.1 to CBC TV8 comes the Soca Avenue, the sweetest soca hour in radio. It's artists with new tunes and some old sweet ones too, jamming on the Soca Avenue. Saturdays, join AON Skills and the crew down on Soca Avenue. All new on CBC TV8. Feeling the festival.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
You know, he was saying, Thornhill, we can sell out the stadium, you know. That's not early you making sport. You can do half in here. Only then to turn up the Saturday morning at the stadium to do the broadcast. The funny stadium, as we were saying now in the local parlance, burst. Overflowing to the point where then you had to get extra seating on the velodrome, the cycle track.
Golden Glory, celebrating our senior games, Tuesday at 8:03 p.m. on air and online.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Do you look like your dad? Do people often say, use the spitting image of your father? That likeness could make your dad a winner in our CBC Mini-Me Father's Day contest. From June 1st to 6th, submit a photo of your dad and his lookalike son or daughter to marketing@cbc.bb or via WhatsApp to 467-5465. Then rally your family and friends to vote on CBC Barbados on Facebook and CBC Barbados 246 on Instagram from June 8th to 10th. The photo with the most votes wins a staycation at the luxurious Sun Bay Hotel. Gift vouchers compliments World Pass cuts, and a photo shoot compliments 8216 Logistics. What are you waiting for? Get those photos with Dad in now.
The ultimate cricket showdown is coming to ESPN, and MCTV has got you covered. The ICC Cricket World Cup 2024 is here on ESPN and MCTV. Tune into MCTV channels 302 and 308 and don't miss a single six, wicket or heart-pounding moment as top teams vie for the 2024 T20 World Cup. From June 1st to 29th, it's cricket you can't afford to miss. Tune into ESPN on MCTV, and for live radio coverage, tune into 94.7. Catch every moment of the ICC Cricket World Cup T20 action.
We enjoy a game with Dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you and welcome to another Morning Barbados presentation. It is Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be in studio with you until 8 o'clock this morning. And we're going to have a good time. It's another overcast day here in Barbados. And I know you are all very into cricket, lovely cricket. We had our very first game over the weekend at the Mecca, and lots of people got out for a good lime and they watched a little cricket as well. You know how it goes in this part of the region. But it was really wonderful to be able to get out and see some cricket being played at the Mecca, the recently renovated Mecca. On that note, a special good morning to all of our teams, particularly the ones that are based here in Barbados, and sending special love to the West Indies team. We are backing you 100%. No comments from you, all right? Because I know sometimes we don't back our boys as much as we should, particularly if they're not.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Calling all Socaholics, the highly anticipated Soca pop-up party of the season is back. Follow us to a different location every Friday night from 8 p.m. from May 10th to June 14th for the Barbados Lottery White Oak Rum 98.1 The One Soca Stop pop-up party. We bring you the music and giveaways, and you bring the vibes and the action.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From 98.1 to CBC TV8 comes the Soca Avenue, the sweetest soca hour in radio. It's artists with new tunes and some old sweet ones too, jamming on the Soca Avenue. Saturdays, join AON Skills and the crew down on Soca Avenue, all new on CBC TV8. Feeling the festival.
My credentials to St. Lucia's Prime Minister, His Excellency Cyril Errol Melchiades Charles. And so that's, as part of my job as Barbados's ambassador to CARICOM, part of my duties is also to be Barbados's non-resident High Commissioner to the various CARICOM member states. So St. Lucia would have been my 7th accreditation as Barbados's non-resident High Commissioner. So I have responsibility for the bilateral relationship between Barbados and the countries, the CARICOM countries that I'm accredited to. But of course, I can't do it all. I have the assistance of 2 Foreign Service officers who work very closely with me. And I also have the assistance of various honorary consuls. So for example, in St. Lucia, our honorary consul is Mr. Timothy Chatterton. So I can lean on him as well. But yeah.
All right, you also made a few very interesting stops while you were there. I see that you got a chance to visit the Derek Walcott Square while in Castries. Yeah, well, I took the opportunity to, first of all, to have a number of courtesy calls. So, and not just courtesy calls, but meetings in which we actually did work. We looked at the relationship and things that we can work on together. So, for example, I met with the Senator Ferdinand, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Investment, etc. I met with Honorable Alan Chastanet, the leader of the opposition. I met with Honorable Alva Baptiste, Minister of Foreign Affairs. In fact, I did a little bit more than just meet with him. I actually attended his wedding. Wow. He got married while I was in St. Lucia. And yes, I was able to explore St. Lucia's heritage, Derek Walcott Square and the Derek Walcott Library and the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And to do a tour of the St. Lucian countryside, Pitons and Soufriere. And yeah, it was just a wonderful week, really getting to know St. Lucia. I mean, it's not my first time there, but I think I was able to get a deeper appreciation of the country on this particular trip and to recognize to what extent St. Lucia's aspirations really tie in with Barbados's. And it's said to me that there's so many areas in which we can collaborate. We can share, we can share our strengths with them, and they in turn can share their strengths with us. So I'm really looking forward. We are going to do a memorandum of understanding between their
basically their ministry with responsibility for culture and heritage and the arts, etc., and our division of culture. So we are looking at all kinds of collaborations. I love what they have done with their two Nobel laureates, Derek Walcott and Sir Arthur Lewis, how they have lifted them, recognized them, but how they've created that library, and it's set off bells in my head. What shouldn't we be doing something similar with George Lamming and Kamau Braffett and Austin Tom Clark and Paul Marshall and Hilton Vaughan, our own literary greats. And then I was telling them about our national heroes, and they haven't developed the concept of national heroes in the way that we have. So there are things that we can share in both directions.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back, so do stay with us here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From 98.1 to CBC TV8 comes the Soca Avenue, the sweetest soca hour in radio. It's artists with new tunes and some old sweet ones too, jamming on the Soca Avenue. Saturdays, join AON Skills and the crew down on Soca Avenue. All new on CBC TV8. Feeling the festival.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oistins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
He was saying, Thornhill, we can sell out the stadium, It's my area you making sport. You can be half in here. Only then to turn up the Saturday morning at the stadium to do the broadcast. The funny stadium, as we were saying now in local parlance, burst. Overflowing to the point where then you had to get extra seating on the velodrome, the cycle track.
Golden Glory, celebrating our senior games, Tuesday at 8:03 p.m. on air and online.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Here we are in the famous Derek Walcott Square in Castries, St. Lucia. It used to be Columbus Square, but the St. Lucians had the good sense to change the name to their great hero, Derek Walcott. Of course, Derek Walcott, a great St. Lucian poet. Nobel laureate, no less, and I really love Derek Walcott's work, especially his poem, his extended narrative poem, The Schooner Flight. It's just a beautiful poem about our whole Caribbean civilization. So it's really great to be here to come and pay a little tribute to Derek Walcott. And in fact, not only Derek Walcott is featured in this square, but we also have Sir Arthur Lewis, another great St. Lucian who was also awarded the Nobel Prize for achievement in economics. Sir Arthur is one of is a hero of our Caribbean, but I think we need to do a lot more to recognize him, because truth be told, not only was he outstanding in the field of economics, but he was also an outstanding Vice Chancellor of our University of the West Indies at a very pivotal moment in its history. And he played a big role in the Caribbean integration process. So really one of the giants of our Caribbean community. Honorable Derek Alton Walcott, born in St. Lucia, January 23rd, 1930, awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1992. Great St. Lucian, great Caribbean man, and keeping his company just across here, the equally great Sir Arthur Lewis, Sir William Arthur Lewis, born in St. Lucia, January 23rd, 1915. Nobel Prize for Economics in 1979. In fact, St. Lucia is reputed to be the country that has per capita the most Nobel laureates in the entire world. You know, tremendous achievement of the St. Lucia.
This is absolutely what it's all about, being able to share with our neighbors and find out more about them. And I'm happy to learn that being there put you in the headspace where you were thinking about all the ways that we can truly honor our very own literary greats, as you mentioned. But more importantly, I'm very interested in finding out, you know, if there are any plans afoot to move forward with areas of trade and you know, other developmental things.
Well, definitely. I mean, St. Lucia is one of our major trading partners. The whole OECS region is very important to Barbados in terms of trade because it is one of the few regions in the world with which we have a trade surplus. You know, we do very well in terms of our trade. They depend on us for a number of items. But we want it to be a win-win situation. I mean, we sell St. Lucia things like building cement, wheat flour, margarine, juices, and stuff like that. They in turn sell us diesel, oil, cartons, paper cartons, and corrugated paper, beer, and aerated beverages and things of that nature. But we want to increase the trade. In 2022, we sold St. Lucia about $31 million in Barbadian items, and they in turn sold us approximately $11 million in produce. And but you know, they're, in addition to what they traditionally sell us, they're developing new areas, new products. So, for example, during my drive around the St. Lucian countryside, I came upon this beautiful specialty chocolate shop in a place called Canaries in St. Lucia, a place called Caco. And and here is, you know, St. Lucia, in addition to their traditional banana crop, and incidentally they sell us bananas as well, but they also have a cocoa crop, and they are producing their own chocolate. So I thought,
well, that's good stuff.
What a good,
because we know that across the world, the price of chocolate is going up. Cocoa.
Yes, beautiful St. Lucian cocoa. And I was thinking, what present, what souvenir can I get for Tisha from St. Lucia? And I thought nothing better than some specialty St. Lucia chocolate.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, it's nice.
I love gifts. And from St. Lucia, I love St. Lucia as well. I have not been back to St. Lucia in quite some time. I dare say more than 5 years. But all of my time in St. Lucia was beautiful and very well spent. Look at this. Nicely packaged as well. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so, you know, if Barbados could be a market for St. Lucian chocolate, yes.
Artisanal St. Lucian chocolate. And it says this is milk cashew.
Yes.
I love it.
Beautiful chocolate.
And it comes with
it's just
you
telling
get
you
to
about
do
the
workshops
enterprise.
and tours and all of that beautiful stuff. A beautiful write-up about it.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous. It's beautiful, nicely packaged as well. So definitely a beautiful keepsake, a good gift if you're making your way to St. Lucia. And it's always great to be able to connect with our neighbors. A lot of the times we think if we're heading out to holidays, it has changed greatly over the years, but we think it's to head to Europe or the Americas to be able to enjoy, a vacation. And I'm happy that's changed.
Yeah, we need to really push intra-Caribbean tourism. And I would be happy to see Barbadians opt in for St. Lucia as a tourism destination, because St. Lucia really complements Barbados. Whilst we are a relatively flat coral island, St. Lucia is a volcanic, mountainous island. So Mount Morn Jimmy, perhaps the highest landmass in the Commonwealth Caribbean, are close to 1,000 meters in height. Then, of course, you have the famous pitons, those volcanic plugs that soar into the air, the gross piton, the grand piton, and the petit piton. You have the volcanic activity, and then you have all the heritage sites. I mean, St. Lucia came from a French background, so the French Creole, the French heritage, the indigenous heritage, because St. Lucia was a stronghold of the Kalinago people. And I had the beautiful experience of going to the museum at the Morn Fortune Museum and interacting with the curator. And she actually got me to do a little painting. So I painted a little picture of Ichiruganim, which was the indigenous name for Barbados. But they focus a lot on that indigenous heritage. In fact, the piton, it is said that the indigenous people would climb to the very top of the piton and carry out spiritual ceremonies to their gods at the top of the piton. So it'd be great for Barbadians to go there and experience a Caribbean culture that is significantly different from ours. And likewise, for St. Lucians to come to Barbados and experience all that we have to offer, the beauty of our island, our entertainment, our restaurants, our sophistication, all the rest of it that Barbados, as a very mature tourism destination, offers.
As I think about it, outside of maybe the calypso or soca music, I don't find there's much in terms of cultural exchange. I mean, of course, we have the laureates, whom we revere and love and talk a lot about as well. But I certainly hope this trip will be the start of the sharing of their diversity and all that makes them wonderful as we continue toward a path of true integration across the region.
Yes, I'm very excited, and we are definitely going to do that MOU. I could see our community college. Well, I think there are already some relationships between our community college, our KFL campus, and their Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, but we want to build on what is already there, because we see so many areas. I mean, they were telling us about their junior calypso competition, and immediately, because we have a very well developed junior calypso program in the schools, the national competitions, I told them, well, we can share, we can help you to develop, and vice versa. So music, dance, theater arts, the whole range of arts and culture, we are going to explore collaborations. And I'm thinking that why don't we have a ferry service? Why can't we have a ferry service between Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent? I mean, in St. Lucia, they have ferries that take them to Martinique and Dominica. So, if we got to St. Lucia, we could easily visit Martinique and Guadeloupe as well. In fact, part of my visit, we met with the Martinican representative to St. Lucia, and we had beautiful talks about collaboration with Martinique as well in student exchanges, medical services, and travel. And so these are all areas that I am going to eagerly explore and follow up. And yes, more power to our Caribbean community. This is what it's all about, building, not just building the overall CARICOM construct, but also the bilateral relationships and partnerships among ourselves.
So what's next for you? Where are you heading? I know it's often, you should have your own plane, sir.
Well, I fortunately am here until the 16th of this month, but then I head off to Ottawa in Canada as a guest of the Caribbean Development Bank. They're doing their annual annual meeting in Canada, and they want to do a very special event on Haiti and mobilizing development finance for Haiti. So they've asked me to come to speak to that at their annual conference in Canada. So that would be my next, and it would be good to give you a little report on that as well, because Haiti, we have to CARICOM. We have to stay the course with our member state. We have to make sure that what we are trying to do now with Haiti succeeds. Failure is not an option. It must succeed, and it must go on to a long-term development program for Haiti. So I am committed to pushing this with all of my energy and passion, willing it to succeed.
All right, excellent. I want to thank you for coming in and sharing with us, certainly giving a different perspective on our Caribbean neighbors and how much more we need to do to truly know and understand each other to advance our relationships. Yes?
Yeah, my pleasure, Tisha. It was one of my best and most meaningful experiences in terms of visiting another Caribbean island and just exploring all of the possibilities for collaboration and partnership.
Beautiful. And of course, I came out on the winning end. I got a beautiful gift. So good morning to all of the St. Lucian family. Always good to share with the region. Thank you, Ambassador.
My pleasure.
All right, stay tuned. We have much more coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Do you look like your dad? Do people often say, use the spitting image of your father? That likeness could make your dad a winner in our CBC Mini-Me Father's Day contest. From June 1st to 6th, submit a photo of your dad and his lookalike son or daughter to marketing@cbc.bb or via WhatsApp to 467-5465. Then rally your family and friends to vote on CBC Barbados on Facebook and CBC Barbados 246 on Instagram from June 8th to 10th. The photo with the most votes wins a staycation at the luxurious Sun Bay Hotel. Gift vouchers compliments world-class cuts, and a photo shoot compliments 8216 Logistics. What are you waiting for? Get those photos with Dad in now.
The ultimate cricket showdown is coming to ESPN, and MCTV has got you covered. The ICC cricket...
Welcome back. Of course, we're talking with Dr. Gillian Birchwood. I told you she would be here, and it's always good to have her in studio with us. It's been such a long time of connecting with you online.
Indeed, it has been a long time, but it's really nice to be in person.
Absolutely.
For a change.
So as we get ready for the summer holiday, you know, there are certain things we will want to do to make sure that we keep our little ones gainfully employed throughout the summer. How do you strike that balance, Dr. Birchwood, without feeling like you're cramming schoolwork on them throughout the summer? So balancing screen time and things like reading throughout the long holiday, as we often call it, with the games and so on that they're playing.
You know, I feel that reading is becoming a lost art with children. They are so immersed with technology from the very beginning in a way that we were not when we were their age. And I'm glad you brought up summer, because during the summer holidays, children really have a tendency to, if you don't have a very specific plan, they can gain a lot of weight and they can spend a lot of time doing activities that are not going to benefit them in the long run. And it's true, we don't want to be drilling them with schoolwork. Their brains need a break too. So it's really important to make sure that they have a mix of activities that they're going to do. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any screen time, but you have to be very deliberate about the screen time that they are engaged in. It's very easy for screens to become a babysitter, and especially with the younger children, that can lead to problems with their development. And with the older children, it can lead to problems with their self-esteem and their mental health. So it's very important to strike the right balance.
All right, let's dissect that a little bit. The little ones and problems with their development.
Yes. I think that I can speak very easily on behalf of all my pediatric colleagues when we implore parents to please monitor the amount of time that your child, your young child especially, with their developing brains, will spend on the screen. So when you have a young child, their brain is still developing. You have to monitor their input, what is going into their little heads. And so when you have those intriguing screens with the bright colors and the movement and the flashing lights and so on, that's going to be extremely visually stimulating for the little ones. And then you turn that off, they say, wait a minute, what's going on here? And they can actually, you can see changes in their behavior. And parents will report this to you, you know, my 2-year-old, I turned off the screen and they got very aggressive because they want that constant satisfaction of this, the visual stimulation. So it can be excessive. And the other thing is that when you are having constant visual inputs, they're watching that screen all the time, whether it's your phone or whether it's the tablet or the TV, where is the interaction with the parents and with other children? And that is how children really learn the most, by interacting with their caregivers and by interacting with other children. So they should be engaged in free play, which develops their imagination, and they should also be learning how to socialize. So for children who are below the age of 2, you really want to have no screen time. Between 18 to 24 months, you could spend some time with them, as long as you are engaging with them and interacting with them. But for children from 2 to 5 years of age, for example, no more than 1 hour a day. And I can hear the screams all across Barbados right now of parents who are saying, what, 1 hour? Yes, you can do it, absolutely.
What about physical development outside of just what's happening mentally or educationally or otherwise? What about physical development? I believe recently I saw a survey where it suggested that more children are developing nearsightedness because of looking at the screen that is so close to their faces all the time.
Absolutely. So there can be visual disturbances because we are not designed to be sitting and staring at something that is the same distance all the time. All day long, our eyes are moving and there are going to be different distances and our eye muscles are going to be used in different ways. But if you're sitting and looking at a fixed distance all the time and focusing on that, then yes, there has been worldwide reported an increase in nearsightedness, and so that's definitely of concern. The way that you train your eyes is going to affect them potentially for the rest of your life, so it's very important. Not to mention the impact of that lost physical activity on a growing child. And so definitely, for example, during the pandemic, when there was an explosion in screen time, we saw an explosion in children becoming overweight or frankly obese, which from a very young age can have lifelong implications. So it's quite serious if you have excessive screen time.
And now for the older children, you talked about children developing issues of self-esteem.
Yes. So, back in the day, we had a few magazines that we would look through, those beauty magazines, for example, with those impossible beauty standards.
But they always felt so far-fetched,
exactly.
like impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. But they weren't constantly in front of us. You might huddle around one at school when the teacher wasn't looking. But for older children and adolescents in particular, where they're beginning to develop a stronger sense of self, of who they are, and you know how important it is as a teenager how you look. When you're constantly following, some famous family that has had loads of plastic surgery and they have had, professional makeup applied and professional, staging, then it's going to be impossible to follow that beauty standard. And they are not going to be aware of all the props and all the preparation that went on behind the scenes and of all the airbrushing. And then they're going to go and look at themselves in the mirror and say, wow, I could never possibly attain that standard, not knowing that it's not realistic. So it can affect their self-esteem if they are looking at the types of content that can really affect how they feel about themselves.
Absolutely. And with that, you're no longer keeping up with the Joneses in your neighborhood. Correct. Or even in your country.
Yes.
You're trying to keep up with people who are far outside of the scope of maybe what you'll be able to accomplish in your lifetime, not to talk anybody down or keep them back from their goals, but it's just so unrealistic a lot of the times.
Yes, it's very unrealistic. And it's been found to disproportionately affect developing young women, teenagers and young adolescents who are female, because really and truly, again, society deems that we are supposed to look a certain way. And so, again, having that impossible standard flashed in front of you all the time definitely can affect how you feel about yourself.
How can we move as parents to develop a sense of wanting to have hobbies and play outside and do all the things that we enjoyed as children? Because there are some hindrances. Now, I remember we always had a pasture nearby, and we would go out. There were a lot of children outside playing as well, so you always had playmates. Now with so much development and people living in developed areas, you don't have so many green spaces close to the neighborhood.
You bring up such valid points. There was so much space around when we were growing up. We were sent outside as soon as school was finished, and the only rule was come back in by dark. And there were lots of other children around the neighborhood. Now you drive around neighborhoods, the kids are inside sitting on their screens, and I feel as though it's so sad. But as parents, as with everything else, we have to model the behavior we want to see. If we ourselves are addicted to our smartphones and our tablets, then we are not modeling the healthy behaviors that we want to see. So we have to limit our own screen time. We have to make sure that we get outside and demonstrate that, being outside and physically active for at least an hour a day for those children who are age 2 and up is exactly what you want to see. You want to get them in the habit of not sitting indoors all day. You want to provide alternative activities, puzzles and books, reading, as you mentioned. Imagine that, reading, right? Which is something that children look at you and curl their lip when you talk to them about reading. You need to show them that you can read and enjoy. And you need to put those children on your lap, sit them down, and make reading an enjoyable time from very early. So it's an activity that they enjoy and they have positive associations with.
Good stuff. Support helps as well. On that note, I want to say a special shout out to Myrna Patrick. And my daughter goes to lessons with her. And my daughter was so amazed that she told her, okay, she had to write some composition. And she said, nothing was coming to mind. And she said, go take a walk. Because she had some fruit trees and so on. She said, go take a walk, pick some fruit. And she was so impressed with that. So it's amazing what little things can make a big difference in the way children think and how they feel. And now she is kind of badgering me to plant fruit trees as well. I don't know if that one will work out, but we will see. All right, we're going to take a break here. Remember, if you have any questions to share, you can email them to morningbarbados@cbc.bb. If we don't get them in now, we'll share them next time Dr. Birchwood is back. But we're going to take a break and come on back. We're not through with this discussion as yet, and we're not trying to guilt you into not allowing the children screen time, because I know sometimes it can give you a much deserved break, but that should not be the reason that you have them in front of the screens, okay? So after a break, we're going to continue with this discussion.
The ultimate cricket showdown is coming to ESPN, and MCTV has got you covered. The ICC Cricket World Cup 2024 is here on ESPN and MCTV. Tune into MCTV channels 302 and 308, and don't miss a single six, wicket, or heart-pounding moment as top teams vie for the 2024 T20 World Cup. From June 1st to 29th, it's cricket you can't afford to miss. Tune into ESPN on MCTV, and for live radio coverage, tune into 94.7. Catch every moment of the ICC Cricket World Cup T20 action.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fun.
All right, welcome back. We have Dr. Gillian Birchwood in studio. She's a consultant pediatrician and neonatologist at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. She's no stranger to Morning Barbados, but it's great to have her in studio this morning and sharing with us. And we're looking particularly at screen time and reading for our children. Yes. Now, you mentioned that reading seems to be something that's on its way out.
Yes.
You know, how do we double back and get children more into reading?
Again, that starts at home. And I will vividly put in a plug for my mother at this point. And, you know, from the very beginning, she really believed in reading. And she knew it was not a habit that would just come. And so from the very young age, I have recollections of every night, and she had 6 children, reading a story that was age appropriate. And it was a lovely time because you'd be in your bed and cozy, and then she'd sit and read. But then as the years went by and you were learning to read, what she would do is cut off at the most exciting part. And then the fox jumped on the hen and, oh, I'm so sleepy. And you would grumble and pick up that book to finish the story, even though you knew what would happen. So I really want to encourage parents to read. And as with anything else, you need to make it a positive experience. Reading has such an impact, not only on the developing minds of children in terms of the complexity of the vocabulary, but it's stunning the impact it has on comprehension as well. And so I can immediately tell when a 2-year-old comes into the office and they've been read to regularly at home, even an 18-month-old, because of the way they're able to follow instructions without gestures to give them hints, and the complexity of the language that they display. It's really amazing that if you've been doing that from a very young age, that it really accelerates the development of that part of the brain. And then you'll find they struggle less when they go to school. So I really believe that we need to encourage reading from a very early age.
How do we recognize that there are challenges, particularly with younger children? Because, you know, there are often some benchmarks that you can hit.
Yes.
We used to have those green cards
Yes.
that everybody had to kind of measure what the children were doing. I might be too old, but I seem to remember a time, my neighbor would laugh at this, where children would take a few days to open their eyes before they came home. Was I from the supermarket, from the hospital? But things have seemingly changed. So how do you gauge, you know, this little one might be a little behind developmentally?
Yes, and it's important to detect that as quickly and as early as possible, because then you can intervene and really change the trajectory of that child's development. So one good way is to look at the green book that every child goes home with now. There are developmental milestones that are included in the book, and in each section it tells you the age in terms of months or years and what they should be doing at each of those early stages in childhood. You don't want to discover a problem for the first time when a child is 8 years old. And so you can write in for each developmental milestone the number of months old that your child did that at. And when they go for their regular well child checkups at the polyclinic with their doctor, with their pediatrician, then developmental screening is automatic. And so that healthcare provider can determine quite quickly, you seem to be a bit behind with speech. So by a certain age, we'd want to send you to get a formal assessment and perhaps start speech therapy. Or before we reach there, we might make recommendations like read to your child, cut down that screen time. If you have a 2-year-old with 3 hours of screen time a day, I guarantee you they're likely to have speech delay. So making sure that you get early identification by going to your healthcare provider at the recommended intervals where screening will be done, and certainly bringing up your concerns as a parent. Even if you're a first-time parent, you might realize, oh, my child is a little different from the others around. So it's important to pay attention and bring those things up to your healthcare provider.
I have a question from a parent who's asking about educational screen time. So educational videos or what have you. And she says, I guess in our day, it would have been Sesame Street, which was on television.
Yes, I miss Sesame Street.
I do. I still remember it's crazy. I remember them so well, better sometimes than things that happened yesterday.
So very true. So that brings up a really important element of screen time, which is that not all screen time is negative. So there are educational programs, but you should not just leave your child sitting in front of those staring for hours on end, even if it's educational, because that interaction, again, is going to be affected. And so yes, you can spend a certain amount of time, better if you are there with your child, talking and playing along, the wheels on the bus, doing all the gestures. And for an older child, yes, they may watch screen time on their own. But even if it is educational, it's important to limit the amount of screen time so that there's a balance in all the activities that contribute to their development.
Well, everything that you've said led to just balance.
Yes.
Physical activity, screen time, reading, to be able to help your children develop in the way that they should.
Absolutely. And I can't overemphasize how important it is to strike that balance. For very young children, 2 to 5, no more than 1 hour screen time a day. For older children and adolescents, screen time can be a good thing because they can be involved in social activities, but can also be bad if they're spending excessive amounts of time. So balance, keeping an eye all the way up while they're in your household.
And we know now that they're even giving assignments online. There's the Google Classroom that's been integrated in a major way since COVID. So a lot of the older children get a lot of their work, and I find a lot more teachers are sharing videos for them to watch instead of the traditional ways of teaching. How can this hinder or help what they're doing?
It can definitely help. Everyone learns in different ways, and so some people are visual learners, and so it can be incredibly helpful to see that history come alive through an accurate video that a teacher might share, and it helps to cement that information better. So I think it will help to round out the different learning styles that children can have. And again, the screen time that we're talking about is outside of schoolwork, so excessive screen time outside of schoolwork would be what we'd be concerned about. But for those older children, it can really be helpful for them to remember all those fine points, or a different way of learning or putting things across in mathematics that might cement those concepts that can be quite challenging for some children.
Absolutely. And as we look to the long holiday, which is where we started, what would be a good place to start, particularly for parents who might not have a lot of financial resources available to them, who have to get out to work, who have the little ones at home and are trying to make the best of what might not be an ideal situation?
Yes, you're right. You don't want to guilt parents into feeling that they're terrible parents if they don't have the types of choices that everyone has. And so a good idea is, again, if they have a device, for example, to have this built-in software that can cut off after a certain amount of time, so that they're not just spending hours watching and you're not aware of it as a parent. And another plug to put software on all the devices so they're not coming across the types of content that would be very inappropriate for children, which is also on the rise. If you can group them together with other children in the neighborhood, perhaps, whose parents might be in a similar situation, then there's much more likelihood that there'll be interaction and play. If you can send them to one of the National Sports Council camps, which are not very high in cost, but so many of them are really high in quality, and getting the children to explore alternative activities. I think those are all things that you can do. Plus, provide the things at home if you can. You know, how much fun is a box when you are a certain age? You know, how much fun are the simple toys that so many of us grew up with? They don't have to be expensive to really stimulate the imagination.
I love that. How much fun is a box?
Yes.
You're going to have to, you know, make sure that you get your credit for that going forward. How much fun is a box? I can see my next post online. But I know based on empirical data, we know that based on certain ages and milestones, as you mentioned, for a lot of parents, you have a certain amount of time to get certain things in for children to be able to develop in the way that they should and carry that through to adulthood. So is there any particular cutoff age where we should make sure that we start to get that balance in with reading? Yes. With balancing the screen time, with physical activity, and even nutrition, so that you know, we create rounded children to be rounded young adults and rounded adults in moving forward.
Well, you know, when you're talking about a cutoff age, as in, is it too late to start? Is that what you meant?
Yep.
It's never too late to start. Adolescents, for example, are particularly hesitant about having their screen time limited. I'll just put it that way.
Tell me about it.
But it's never too late. So again, you can say, how about you put down the phone and let's play a game of dominoes? You know, how about you read this chapter in this book and let's talk about it, because I found it really interesting. Let's have a look at the newspaper and discuss, you know, regional affairs or discuss international affairs. So it doesn't even have to be that they're reading a book, even if they prefer to read content online from a reputed website, not just from some peculiar website with some skewed point of view, or you can discuss something that you saw on the news. I think that is even a good starting point from getting them away from the screens and getting them to understand that there's more than just staring and consuming content without really thinking about it. So I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I find these days my daughter is telling me, how do I say this in a way that you will understand? And I'm thinking, when did I stop understanding basic language? But I would imagine that sometimes they feel as though, you know, there's a breakdown in communication because of the age and other barriers. So I'd say conversation is a great place to start as well.
Yes.
But I remember having really great summer holidays, running around, picking people's fruit.
Correct.
You know, playing games. How much fun was a box? And all those other things. So thank you, Dr. Birchwood. I really enjoyed this more informal conversation. And I would imagine that for some parents, they're rushing into the office because the children have, you know, little things going on, whether it's what's going around now with the tummies, because I know a lot of children are getting tummy bugs and so on. They don't necessarily get the time to be able to kind of pick your brain.
Yes.
And I'm happy we were able to today.
Oh, I had fun too.
All right, so some great time with Dr. Birchwood on the couch, just for you. So we're going to set some milestones for us and for the little ones to make sure that we're preparing them for life. All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, the next chapter.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Socaholics, the highly anticipated soca pop-up party of the season is back. Follow us to a different location every Friday night from 8 p.m. from May 10th to June 14th for the Barbados Lottery White Oak Rum 98.1 The One Soca Stop Pop-Up Party. We bring you the music and giveaways, and you bring the vibes and the action.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From 98.1 to CBC TV8 comes the Soca Avenue, the sweetest soca hour in radio. It's artists with new tunes and some old sweet ones too, jamming on the Soca Avenue. Saturdays, join AON Skills and the crew.
Do you look like your dad? Do people often say, use the spitting image of your father? That likeness could make your dad a winner in our CBC Mini-Me Father's Day contest. From June 1st to 6th, submit a photo of your dad and his lookalike son or daughter to marketing@cbc.bb or via WhatsApp to 467-5465. Then rally your family and friends to vote on CBC Barbados on Facebook and CBC Barbados 246 on Instagram from June 8th to 10th. The photo with the most votes wins a staycation at the luxurious Sun Bay Hotel. Gift vouchers compliments world-class cuts, and a photo shoot compliments 8216 Logistics. What are you waiting for? Get those photos with Dad in now.
Absolutely waiting for those photos from you. Make sure you get them in. And, like I said, I've been seeing some photos as well. And I know a couple parents that you're thinking, how does she look so much like her dad? How does he look so much like his dad? Make sure you get those photos in, because we have some fantastic prizes for you to win. World-class cuts. They're going to be giving some gift vouchers, a photo shoot, compliments 8216 Logistics. And we're going to send you off to a staycation at Sun Bay Hotel. So if the dad in your life or dad figure in your life looks just like you, because I know it can carry through generations as well. I have a guy who sent in 3 generations. So his dad, then he and his daughter all look so much alike. And those photos are in already. Don't think that it's too late to start taking the pictures. Make sure you line them up, even if it's a picture with you together or separately, as long as people can see how much you look alike. That will make all the difference. Now, entries close this Thursday, June 6th. So you have to get the entries in as soon as possible. You only have until Thursday. Today's the 4th. It's Tuesday. You have 2 more days to get those entries in. And you're sending it via email to marketing@cbc.bb. That's marketing@cbc.bb. Or if you prefer, you can send it to WhatsApp 467-5465. So that's 467-5465. Or email your pictures to marketing@cbc.bb to make Dad a winner this Father's Day with the CBC Mini-Me contest. And that's just a part of what we'll be doing for our dads for Father's Day, because we want to make them feel as special as they are. So make sure you do something grand for Dad and enter the contest. Remember, you only have until Thursday this week to submit those photos. Hey, we have an update of the news coming your way next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From 98.1 to CBC TV8 comes the Soca Avenue, the sweetest soca hour in radio. It's artists with new tunes and some old sweet ones too, jamming on the Soca Avenue. Saturdays, join AON Skills and the crew down on Soca Avenue. All new on CBC TV8. Feeling the festival.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
You know, he was saying, Thornhill, we can sell out the stadium, you know. That's my area you making sport. You can be half in here.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. It's time for an update of the news. Financial institutions in Barbados are being encouraged to reduce the time it takes for people to conduct business. The call has come from Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Senator Chad Blackman. He says by doing so, it will help Barbados standing in the Ease of Doing Business Index.
Oftentimes, a person might say, okay, I got a little hour here. I want to go and pay this bill, or I want to go and change a check, or whatever. And oftentimes, you spend more time in the bank than you should. And therefore, I want to use this opportunity also to say to our banks that notwithstanding, of course, they're offering excellent services and products to the market, the service time for ordinary people going into the bank has to be reduced. It has to be reduced. And I'm sure many people on watching this program will agree. Because why? It increases productivity.
Now, Senator Blackman was a guest on CBC TV8's current affairs program, The People's Business, on Sunday, which focused on resilience, growth, and opportunities. He pointed to the economic potential of locally grown products like aloe vera, which he believes can be mass-produced and exported for use in a wide range of beauty products.
And household may be saying, okay, watching this discussion right now, how can I, a small farmer or a mom of 3 or 4 children, I have some aloes in the back, but how do we get these aloes in the back into Nairobi or into Ghana or into Hong Kong? And oftentimes, if you do it alone, the costs are prohibitive because, of course, you don't have critical mass. But there is room for consortiums, and there's room for collective small players forming companies together. So therefore, you bring all of your resources together for export. And that is the direction that we have to look at. Because why? There are opportunities on the global horizon right there for us. And we have a lot of indigenous things that are uniquely Barbadian, of high quality, that the world needs.
Local tourism officials are doing their utmost to strengthen the island's culinary offerings by training chefs. On Monday, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. launched the 3rd edition of its Junior Chef Cook-Off competition. The 10 participants were revealed at the BTMI's Warren's offices. The participants are apart from being immersed in local culture. The participants will be the BTMI's, I'll read that for you again. Apart from being immersed in local culture, the BTMI's Director of Communications and Public Relations, April Thomas, says the junior chefs will also receive certificates for training thanks to a new partnership with the Jean and Norma Holder Hospitality Institute.
This year, they will be gaining certification in basic trade cookery and module certification within the Level 1 preparation, food preparation, Caribbean vocational qualification, or CVQ, upon completion of their training phase. So this ensures that everybody that's participating in this competition, even if they don't get that top spot, they're still getting this official training that's going to be able to get them to the next level of their culinary degrees.
And the Institute's acting director, Roderick Prescott, says they're happy to be on board with the BTMI's competition.
These certifications will benefit you not only locally, but also internationally. They're recognized. So you can, after the competition and you pursue your education, you pursue other endeavors, and you want to travel overseas, these certifications will allow you the opportunity to pursue them and pursue them with an advantage over other persons.
With the countdown to Cropover well underway, the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation is playing its part to get the festival vibe going. Over the weekend, it hosted the first South Rum and Soca Lime for the 2024 season at Thelma's Bar in Riverland, St. Philip. Marketing specialist Nicole Collins spoke of the importance of such an event.
For 2024, CBC is feeling the festival big on everything. And of course, feeling the festival, we could not feel the festival without coming out into the communities. We're coming out into the communities with South, Rum, and Soca. We're in our second year. Last year we did South and Soca. This year we've added Rum to the initiative. So it's now South, Rum, and Soca. We're here at Talmud Sports Bar and Grill, Riverland, St. Philip for the first of 5. Next week, we go to Lower Carlton, first and last bar, and Lower Carlton St. James. What does this mean for the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation? This gives us an opportunity to bring about an awareness of some hideaways in Barbados where people can get some good sauce, some good rum, and of course, some good soca.
98.1 The One's hyperdrive team of MHK and Inchi hosted the event. The duo is set to play an integral role for the remainder of the series. And Barbados' first ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup match at Kensington Oval attracted 6,000 spectators at the event held Sunday night. It's been given a grade of A-class and a green light, 8 out of 10. However, Chairman of the National Organizing Committee, NOC, Ambassador Noel Lynch, says there are still some kinks to be ironed out headed to the finals.
Clearly, for the first time, the first match of the refurbished stadium, new systems in place. There's still some things that may have slipped between the cracks. The park and ride system didn't have a lot of patrons, obviously, because a lot of Barbadians would have turned out for 8:30 match, which would have finished maybe after midnight. So those systems are going to be really, really tested tomorrow in the second match, England versus Scotland. Clearly, we're getting people in and out of the stadium, ensuring that that the park and ride systems function, looking at what happened in terms of seating in the stadium.
Barbados to host the World Cup will be tested, that is today, Tuesday, when the match between England and Scotland takes place.
10:30 match. We hope to have a lot of school children in, and the other thing that we're working on about this now, because 2 of the players that are playing for the English team, Christopher Jordan and Joffrey Archer, are Barbadians. And even though they're playing for England, we have to expect Barbados to be out in their numbers.
Barbados now has its first beach soccer club. A group of players have joined together in an effort to compete at international tournaments in the absence of the national program. CBC's Anne-Margaret Rich-Boyce has more.
While the National Beach Soccer Program is inactive, a group of players have formed their own club. They'll be training here at Browns Beach in preparation for a number of competitions later this year.
The newly formed club is called Bajans Sandballers and will be coached by former player Christopher King. He says following several months of inactivity in the sport, a few former national players are kicking ahead their dreams of training and playing at overseas tournaments.
The guys started to miss the sport, started to wanted to do something more in terms of beach soccer because the national program is no longer available, but they still have the hunger and thirst to play the sport. So we decided we will start back a club, which we are originally started in 2019, and the guys had traveled, but due to COVID we had stopped. But we decided we'll start by the club and try to push to more invitational tournaments that we get usually year out. A lot of tournaments we get invited to, so we try our best to get the guys back out on the program and try to get them out playing more again.
Versatile player Romario Savory is excited that beach soccer has resumed and also outlined his targets for the future.
It feels really great to be back on the sand, getting something started again. And yeah, just all around being together with the guys, that camaraderie. Yeah, it's really good to be back out.
What are your plans and hopes for the sport now? I know the coach, he mentioned about some of the tournaments. Any personal goals for you?
Well, right now, I would like to increase on scoring some goals when we travel. You know, as I said, our first tournament, I didn't score any. Then we had another tournament. We went to Florida, actually. I scored about 3 goals. But I would like to increase on that and the style of play.
The new Beach Soccer Club is open to both males and females of all ages. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Thank you, Anmar. Remember, you can find Anmar every evening after the evening news for his program Final Over, which gives you a summary of the day's play. We also have coverage coming on our sister station, 94.7 FM daily, where there are matches. Where there are clashes, of course, we'll only cover one of those matches, but make sure you tune into 94.7 FM for that. Newsday comes up at 12 noon here on TV8, then The World at 1 on our radio services. So we keep you updated throughout the day. It's time for a break here in Mornin Barbados, but there's much more coming up, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
You know, he was saying, Thornhill, we can sell out the stadium, you know. That's my area you making sport. You can be half in here. Only then to turn up the Saturday morning at the stadium to do the broadcast. The funny stadium, as we were saying now in the local parlance, burst. Overflowing to the point where then you had to get extra seating on the velodrome, the cycle track.
Golden Glory, celebrating our senior games, Tuesday at 8:03 p.m. on air and online.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So you know we love to celebrate exceptional youth. Today's no different. We welcome Macario Maynard, who is Graphic Artist of the Year from the Guynon Music Awards. Congrats to you, Macario.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
All right. So your journey with graphic art and art in general, I would imagine, starting from very early, about 11. So at what stage did you or the parents recognize, well as we say in Bajan parlance, you could draw good?
Well, that's the thing. From a young age, I hated art. I could not draw. Like, whenever I had art classes at primary school or secondary school, I would run away from the classes because my hand with a pencil and paper, it just never went together. So when I got into graphic designing, it was from 11 years old, and that is because of my I created a YouTube channel, so I had to get my own logo, create my own thumbnails, my own channel art, and the love just developed from there. So in about 2019, I made something for a friend for his he now started into music production, so he needed a cover art. So he posted something on his Instagram story, and I was shaking. Should I swipe up and say, I could do a little something, or should I just stay in my little corner? Cause I'm not someone that out there. I always in my little corner. So I said, all right, I can swipe up and I can say I can do it. So when I was finished, he said, yo, you could do a little thing. Literally in those words, you could do a little thing. So he told me that I should take it seriously and create my own business, and that's basically how I got here. I created ATW visuals that same day, and from then I never stopped. Really and
That's
truly.
good stuff. Now you've been kind of literally honing your craft and doing well through the development of the business, but you also got formal training as well through BCC. Talk to me about that.
That's another thing, I think that God talks to me through people around me, really and truly. So this lady at my church, she told me that I should try and get my papers in graphic design, not knowing in my mind that that is actually something that was possible, that I can actually get a degree in graphic design. So I went around looking at UB, they didn't have it. I look at BCC and I say, yeah, they have the bachelor in graphic design. So I applied for that, not knowing that I had to do something else first, which would have been the associate degree in visual arts, which is basically a prerequisite. So that is what I just completed, and once I'm successful in September, I will be going on to do the bachelor in graphic design.
That's excellent. Talk to me about some of the work that you've done through the years that you've been thinking, oh my goodness, this is so good. Did I do this?
Well, that's the thing. I never took my own horn, as the people would say. I don't really like to do it. Like, sometimes I do sit down and say, yo, Macario, you do that. But, like, I just stay humble all the time. Like, people will tell me, yeah, you hard, you this and that. But it's like, I know trying. I know trying to do a little thing, really and truly. But some of the people I've worked with, when I sit down and really look at it, I just ask myself, how did I get here? Because this was never my path. Like, in my mind, I was thinking that I would be doing computer engineering or mechanical engineering or something, but not knowing that graphic design would be my path. Like, it was literally written in stone for me, to be honest. Like, I remember what really like pushed me to really stick with graphic design. I was in a meeting with my youth group from church, and we had to do this personality test online. So you have a certain amount of questions and you have to fill them out, and then they will give you some result at the end. And I think it was the whole topic for the discussion was career paths or what's not, and what would go good with your personality. And when I got the result, I went on Google and typed in what jobs would be good for this personality, and the first thing that popped up, graphic design. I said, okay, all right, cool. So I would continue with that or what's not, and I never stopped, never looked back.
You talked about getting jobs that you never thought you could. So what's been your most challenging and most rewarding job to date? I don't know if they're the same or different.
Well, the most challenging, I would say all of them are challenging. I'm not gonna lie. Like, someone that I never thought I would work with would have been Hypersounds. And he is someone that constantly pushes me all the time. Like, he believes in me. I'm not gonna lie. And like, Hypersounds, like, talking to me that solely and like being with him and what's not, he's guiding me along. Like, I would have never thought that would have been possible. Like, for someone that hated art growing up, I know that's just my life. I just sometimes gotta sit down and just say, Lord, thank you. Thank you. Like, I never thought that this would have been my life right now. And of course, I have to thank my mother. She supports me in everything I do once it's positive. And also, I have to thank all my other family members. And of course, my girlfriend. She and my mother are basically the same person. Really and truly. They push me in everything that I do. They always support me, and no matter what, they'll be there. They'll always be there.
Where are you hoping to take this? I know when it comes to graphic design, there's so many channels. There's so many areas you can go into. And these days, there are lots more opportunities for specializations as well. So is there anything specifically that Macario wants to go into?
I would say working in the big production studios, so like the big movie studios, so say Marvel or Paramount or what's not. Like, my main thing would be creating like the movie posters. Basically, that's what I love to do. So I love photo manipulation. So like, if I would say I would take a picture of you or me and put you on the moon, and it will actually look like if you're actually there. That's what I love to do. Love to do. So anything like that, like creating any sort of posters or photo manipulation, that's what I would love to get into.
Has AI changed your view of your work in any way whatsoever? Because these days you can generate photos and posters through AI by just text.
It's true. Well, that's the thing. When it comes to AI, you still have to have a background in art, because you have to tell the agent what exactly to do. So if you don't know, well, it's not going to come out looking good. So AI, I wouldn't say AI is really a threat. Like, I would say use it as a tool to help you. So something that would have taken you about, let me say, 3 hours to do, AI will help you and you will complete it in about 5 minutes. So sometimes I do use AI to help me, like within Photoshop. So something that would have taken me about an hour to do now, it cuts down to about 30 minutes or so. So that's like, I like AI in that way, but when people just like try to use it and say, that, well, I want to say it isn't art. AI is an art form now. It is developing and getting better every day, but something I just feel like, I want to say it's cheating, but because like we actual designers go through a lot of work to get this picture, and all you have to do is put in words now. But you can still use it as a tool. I wouldn't say to hate it or like throw it to your side, like try to incorporate it into your workflow, and it actually would help.
Yeah, I want to agree with you on that. I absolutely don't think it's cheating. I think it's how we look at it and how we use it. And as you mentioned, you still have to have that input into the language model to be able to get out what you want. And that's exactly what comes out.
Yeah.
So I feel as people sometimes we think if something comes too easily, there's something wrong. You know, you have to, because we are told you have to work for it.
Yeah, it's true.
So you just talked about cutting work time from 3 hours to 5 minutes. Why wouldn't you take that opportunity?
Exactly what you just said. Like when I do my work, and I back then it obviously would have taken me longer because I'm now starting out and now learning the software and what's not. But now when I sit down and do a project and I finish in about an hour, I say, wait, I done? Like, I did everything right. I would run through everything again and make sure that everything was correct. I would go back to the client and just, talk to them and make sure everything good. I say, yeah, I did good. That's even better than what I wanted. I said, huh? Like, I get really confused because like, if I don't spend a lot of time on it, I don't think that I'm finished. Really and truly, I don't. Like, I just think that I left out something. I really and truly, I even put in more things that I had to, and I'm already finished.
All right. How do you think the formal education has shaped the type of work you do? Because it sounds like initially you were operating a lot on just talent.
Well, my education in music, that helped me a lot because the main thing that I do with ATW is cover art. So like for the different songs and different albums or what's not. So before I even got into graphic design, I was deep into music. That's where I thought my life was actually going to go at one point, playing drumming or playing piano. So I am very, very attached to music. So when the client would send me like their song or their demo, I can relate to it on a deeper level and even try to visualize the cover art even better. So I would say that my education in music really, really does help. It really does.
Is there anything specific you like to do? We saw a few of the covers that you did for Hypersounds and stuff like that, but is there any specific type of graphic art that kind of tugs at your heartstrings?
I think it would be the same cover arts and then the photo manipulation posters that I just sometimes sit down and do. I just love to do them. For some reason, I just love to do it. Like even at, I was at BCC earlier this year. Every single project I did, it was photo manipulation. So once again, if I had to take a picture of me or you and put us on the moon, it would actually look like if we were actually there. That's what I love to do. So I had to learn how lighting works, how shadows work, the different muscles in the face where the lighting would drop and where the shadows will reflect. So all of that I have to learn, and the different muscles in the body or what's not. It's a big process. And just like pelting the person right there, drawing the shadows or drawing the light, and that's it. You actually have to know what's going on behind that.
There's some creativity behind it. Love that photo, that poster that you did, with the bus stop, the signature Bajan bus stop, Bus to City stop in the background, with a recent visitor who created quite a stir.
Yes, please. That got more reach than I actually thought. It got a lot of reach on Instagram because I like to promote my stuff on Instagram, but it's then up to the Bajan people to actually like it and share and what's not, and it got a lot of love, more than I thought. But my process for creating that poster, I didn't even know where the idea came from. Really and truly. Sometimes I just sit at my computer for about an hour just doing research or what's not, and then the idea just comes and off and running.
Man, it came from DJ Khaled of setting our algorithms here in Barbados.
Yep.
He was dropping a video every 2 seconds.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, you could not go on Insta or TikTok without a DJ Khaled video.
It's true. It's true. So I just kind of use that also to boost myself. So once people see what I can do, they will come to me and say, "Oh, I want something like that there." And you know, that's how it continues. Or what's now, that's how my page grows, and you know.
Beautiful. That's good stuff. Now you won the Gainon Award for graphic art this time around. How did that make you feel?
Well, this would be my second time winning it. I won it last year. Last year, when I heard my name called, I said, "Huh?" I ain't that scared because I gotta walk up in front of all these big people and say a little speech or what's not. And I hear scared. I hear shaking. And I remember it perfectly. The first thing I said is that I'm not a man of many words. And I heard somebody say that you gotta get used to it though. And I started laughing on stage. But I just said, 1, 2 things, thank you, and what's not, I walked off, and my heart here beating through my chest. But this time around, it was even worse, to be honest. It was even worse. I had a feeling that, yeah, I could win at What's Not. People tell me, like when I was posting the link at What's Not, people tell me, "Macario, you know you done way too." I said, "Well, I didn't know y'all could see the future." I told them that I didn't know y'all were God or What's Not. But I was sitting on that to my girlfriend and my mother, and the category was visual expression. So when I heard portrait photographer of the year get announced, I said, "Oh, I know." Because if that get announced, that means that graphic artist of the year coming soon. But the way that they did it, they didn't bring us up on stage, so they announced them before the ceremony, which I didn't know about. So when Christy D said, "I'm graphic artist of the year went to ATW Visuals," I was in my seat like this here. And I could see my girlfriend and my mother staring at me. Like, I was so scared. I said, "Wait, what happened here now? I gotta go up on stage, what I gotta do?" So it was different. So I did all the celebrating when I get home, like jumping up and things. So like I ain't gonna really celebrate in front of people that's all. Like, I don't really like to do that in public, but I was happy. It felt like I was like, I said, appreciated. I mean, awarded like for all the hard work, because as one of my tutors literally look at me and say, "You work too hard." And my mother said, "Yep, all about 5 o'clock in the morning, I still up doing work." Like that, as we had the conversation before we started about the creative juices flowing, when everybody's sleeping, I up. Really and truly. So basically my 9 to 5 is 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. Really and truly. But,
and I understand that because as creatives, I know sometimes my brain is going overtime when I'm supposed to be sleeping. Like when you figure, sometimes ideas wake me out of my sleep. So I get that.
True. Yeah, that's actually how it works for singers as well. I remember Mikey did an interview the other day, and he was talking about he just jumped out of his sleep and he could see the vision. Like I think a song that he did with Sugary. He couldn't hear it, but he could see it, and he just wrote the song off of what he saw. And I said, "Wow, we basically all kind of think the same way when it comes to our craft."
And sometimes it's in the quiet moments as well. Yeah. Because when you have a lot going on and it's busy outside and so on, you know, it may be difficult to kind of focus in on what you want. Yeah. But I want to offer congratulations to you. Continue to strive for the stars.
Thank you very, very much.
And continue to do exceptional work. And I told you already that I might have to draw on your expertise, no pun intended, for a few things. But no most certainly I'll be able to say that I have the right of getting the graphic designer of the year working on my project. So that'll be a plus. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very, very much.
Keep on keeping on. Yes, and of course, you're part of the Cormier family as well.
Yes, please. Up and
of course, we had to mention that.
Yes, please. Up and all the time. All the time.
All right. So here you have it, Macario Maynard. And he is a lucky winner. So look up Barbados. When you see his work, you will know it. And you will know his name. Graphic Artist of the Year for the Gainon Awards 2024. It's time for another break, but stay with us. There's a lot more to come here on Morning Barbados. It's 29 minutes before 8 o'clock, and we have a lot to squeeze into that time, so stay here.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Do you look like your dad? Do people often say, use the spitting image of your father? That likeness could make your dad a winner in our CBC Mini-Me Father's Day contest. From June 1st to 6th, submit a photo of your dad and his lookalike son or daughter to marketing@cbc.bb or via WhatsApp to 467-5465. Then rally your family and friends to vote on CBC Barbados on Facebook and CBC Barbados 246 on Instagram from June 8th to 10th. The photo with the most votes wins a staycation at the luxurious Sun Bay Hotel. Gift vouchers compliments World Class Cuts, and a photo shoot compliments 8216 Logistics. What are you waiting for? Get those photos with Dad in now.
The ultimate cricket showdown is coming to ESPN, and MCTV has got you covered. The ICC Cricket World Cup 2024 is here on ESPN and MCTV. Tune into MCTV channels 302 and 308 and don't miss a single six, wicket or heart-pounding moment as top teams vie for the 2024 T20 World Cup. From June 1st to 29th, it's cricket you can't afford to miss. Tune into ESPN on MCTV, and for live radio coverage, tune into 94.7. Catch every moment of the ICC Cricket World Cup T20 action.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Calling all Socaholics! The highly anticipated Soca pop-up party of the season is back! Follow us to a different location every Friday night from 8 p.m. from May 10th to June 14th for the Barbados Lottery White Oak Rum 98.1 The One Soca Stock pop-up party. We bring you the music and giveaways, and you bring the vibes and the action.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
From 98.1 to CBC TV8 comes the Soca Avenue, the sweetest soca hour in radio. It's artists with new tunes and some old sweet ones too, jamming on the Soca Avenue. Saturdays, join AON Skills and the crew down on Soca Avenue. All new on CBC TV8. Feeling the festival.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison Scave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
You know, he was saying, Thornhill, we can sell out the stadium, you know. That's not early you making sport. You can be half in here. Only then to turn up the Saturday morning at the stadium to do the broadcast. The funny stadium, as we were saying now in the local parlance, burst. Overflowing to the point where then you had to get...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. We have to say a special good morning and welcome to Anya Kempadu, who is a Caribbean author. But I think what's most important is she is known for and celebrated for her vivid depiction of the Caribbean through her literature and otherwise. Good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Barbados. Good to have you with us.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Talk to us about your foray into literature, into writing at this level.
Well, it started from my love of reading and literature. From as a child, I would read a lot, was encouraged to, and my mom really was responsible for that in educating us with Caribbean literature, Amerindian stories, indigenous stories. And so through that love of reading, I actually I thought that I wanted to be an artist, a visual artist. So I went off to art school in Europe and then realized that this would not serve my Caribbean. I'm from Guyana, and I ended up landing back in Trinidad to find what art form would be appropriate or from and of the Caribbean in Trinidad. And I ended up working in Carnival with Peter Minchell, apprenticing and learning the graphic arts, costume design, prototype making. So the Carnival arts. Yet it was seeing stories brought alive in mass and on the street and brought alive with his designs. I actually ended up finding my own voice in writing quietly after all of that, after 10 years of working in Trinidad. And so it was a pleasure to find that way of telling a story and communicating across to others in the form that I love, which is books. And so I learned to write outdoors by the sea in Tobago, and then Grenada, where I lived for many years. So for me, writing and literature was a process that's connected to the Caribbean, to the sea, and communicating through a form that I love and grew up on and love sharing.
Based on your works and as a Caribbean author, tell us how you see the role of literature kind of shaping some of the more challenging Caribbean norms that we experience. I know that your work kind of deals with a lot of head-on issues that we don't necessarily see in other works as well.
Well, I think, it's with reading, it gives you a way to engage in depth with an issue, with stories, with characters that you might see yourself in. And so for youth and adults to have access to literature that reflects our society and our social issues, and sometimes things that we are not comfortable speaking about, like sex, like the violence in our culture, the beauty and the pain. It's I think it's so important, and yet it's a form that is challenged by literacy and access to books, and sometimes in the way that it's taught in schools or encouraged or not in the home. I heard you speaking with your earlier guest about reading and reading to children and the importance of that. So it plays an important role, but it's a frustrating one for me, because it's, when you realize how much of the population, how many young people will, choose to read that Caribbean book or novel. It's a sort of hit and miss, but the CXC definitely helped, but there's challenges also with that method.
Talk to us about your
process.
Complex. I can see that. Talk to us about your process, though. The guest just before talked about an artist kind of seeing things, and as someone who kind of started out in graphic art and then moved to sharing through your words, is it sometimes an amalgam of the two that brings you to the place where you have these stories that you are sharing with the world?
It is, and I was really happy to hear your last guest, the graphic artist, the success that he's having. Creative expression in any form just needs nurturing in our society, which is not just ours, but for me, it's a combination of seeing and hearing a story, visually and sound-wise, and then finding words to put that on a page, and words that would flow in a rhythm and capture the musicality of the language, the soundscape, the landscape, and that sort of visual and audio approach to, or sensory approach to writing for me is connected to our physical landscape, our culture, but I think it may be because of that and my past training in carnival arts that I moved away from writing to trying to see how I can share a story in more experiential or multidimensional sound and image and movement. So that's where I'm at in terms of exploring the combination of visualizing story and making it alive and inviting people into a story world.
Within the last few days, you shared one of your pieces with Barbadians. You were here to present Naniki Immersive, a Caribbean story world. Talk to us about that experience and what it was like being here at Hayman's Market and sharing your works with such an intimate but very important grouping.
Well, it was a real pleasure, and I'm sorry that I'm out of Barbados, back in the concrete jungle again and joining you virtually. But it was a pleasure to be in Barbados, to meet and continue to meet great creatives and animators in the cultural space, and to get the support of the Canadian High Commission, which I sort of approached very last minute, and the arrangement support at Hayman's Market to be able to share this. So I thank them. But also I want to mention Fran Wickham, who I met, reached out to in 2019, who was behind this project, Naniki Immersive, from the very beginning. And So to continue now and be in Barbados and be able to share the book, which is called Naniki. And we did that at Blackrock Bookstore with a book splash, with us even more intimate gathering, which was really nice. And the conversations for me, it was so engaging. Russell Watson, who is in this picture, together with Miriam Van Nee, Faith Keeper Damon Corey, and his daughter Laliwa. It was a real privilege to be able to do this on Caribbean soil in Barbados, where I completed the novel, coming back to the water to write again, and trying to understand what it means to share stories in multidimensional ways. And so this was a presentation of my immersive production, which was staged in Montreal, not the actual production itself, but rather video and images from that. And the hope is to be able to stage it in Barbados with a wider audience. But this gave me a taste of the receptivity, the interest, and the types of conversations and importance of indigeneity in Barbados, how to collaborate, how local artists could possibly be involved, speaking with producers in Barbados. It's very encouraging. It was a taste for me, and I hope for the public also, and the group that did attend, to see how we may be able to stage some iteration of Naniki in Barbados.
How important is it for you to bring that level of authenticity to the work that you write, particularly about the Caribbean? I know in the Naniki novel, you address matters, everything from spirituality to climate change and climate resilience, and a lot of the things that are really top of mind at this time. So how important is it for you to make sure that that authentic Caribbean story is told through your words?
Well, I consider myself Caribbean. And so all I can do is to try and be true to what's important to me and to the region, to the landscape, to the species, and us as a sort of amalgamation of several cultures. Sometimes outside of the Caribbean indigenous and any sort of other ethnic representation from the Caribbean is seen as not Caribbean, because the Caribbean is seen as Afro-Caribbean. So for me, it's important, based on my own experience and the knowledge of not just one island or country, but the complexity of the region as a whole, and the challenges that we face as small island nations, dependent largely on the natural resources that we have around us. It's that's what moves me, that's what motivates me. And so being authentic to that, and to where my physical writing process came from, which is outdoors in that landscape and living in that society, is, I hope, something that comes across or connects to others not just in the Caribbean, but beyond as well.
I want to thank you for sharing with us this morning insights and some wisdom on your process and all that you've been doing to continue to share about the Caribbean. Your work is certainly captivating, if I can call it that. And we can't wait to see what you bring for us next. I think that's what we're looking forward to. And of course, I have to make sure that I get in all of the writing before we have our next interview. I want to make sure that I am on top of every single book.
Well, thank you again for having me and for the compliments and the pressure.
That's always good. That's always good. So thank you for sharing with us. Unfortunately, you're back in Canada. We would have loved to have you while you were here in Barbados, but I'm sure this won't be your last time writing by the seashore.
Not at all. Thank you for having me.
All right, Caribbean author Anya Kempadu sharing with us this morning. Do some research, find out a little bit more about those books, and you'll be thoroughly impressed at how vividly they share our collective Caribbean story. It's time for another break on Morning Barbados, but stick around. We're coming back to wrap up today's show.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Do you look like your dad? Do people often say, use the spitting image of your father? That likeness could make your dad a winner in our CBC Mini-Me Father's Day contest. From June 1st to 6th, submit a photo of your dad and his lookalike son or daughter to marketing@cbc.bb or via WhatsApp to 467-5465. Then rally your family and friends to vote on CBC Barbados on Facebook and CBC Barbados 246 on Instagram from June 8th to 10th. The photo with the most votes wins a staycation at the luxurious Sunday Hotel. Gift vouchers compliments world-class cuts, and a photo shoot compliments 8216 Logistics. What are you waiting for? Get those photos with Dad in now.
5 minutes to go before 8 o'clock, so a little bit of social media buzz. We want to share with you what's happening online. Well, the very first African-American woman to fly in the U.S. Air Force has taken her final flight. For over 40 years, Captain Teresa Claiborne has been flying military and commercial planes as well, breaking barriers along the ways in more ways than one. She made her final landing at Newark Liberty International on Thursday, May 23rd.
Strong, the trailblazing pilot, after soaring above the clouds for decades, taking her final commercial flight.
Captain Teresa Claiborne receiving cheers from colleagues and loved ones.
I did it! Thank you. Thank you all. Congratulations. Thank you.
An emotional reunion after piloting her final commercial flight. A trailblazer selected as the first black female pilot by the U.S. Air Force.
7 years on active duty and 13 years in the reserves.
When I graduated from pilot training, I did not know that I was the first until about 2 weeks prior to graduation.
And among the first hired by United Airlines 34 years ago. Along the way, serving as a mentor to other women of color eager to follow the same path.
Diversity is important. And we have a saying, if they can see it, they can be it. If little black girls don't know they can be pilots, guess what? That's not something they're going to choose. That's an opportunity that we give them.
Captain Claiborne's final 6.5-hour flight for United was from Lisbon, Portugal to Newark Liberty International Airport on a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Over her entire career as a pilot, she logged 23,000 flight hours. Tonight, reflecting on her legacy and impact on future generations.
When I see my legacy in action, when I see these young women who are now flying for an airline that were not flying for an airline when I first met them, it's phenomenal. I'm tickled. I'm retired. Everything doesn't stop. I mean, I still have lots of work to do.
And still opening doors for so many. What a story.
Consider today, if they can see it, they can be it. So make sure you reach out and share with the little one today. Well, coming up on tomorrow's presentation of Morning Barbados, we have Doc Talk with Dr. Barker. He's going to be in. Plus, Kelly Cadogan will be in to discuss her vocal showcase and global award ceremony. That's coming up. So we look forward to having Kelly in with us once again. She's always doing wonderful work. Heritage Road Show is coming up this weekend. I don't know if you've been in the region of Haggett Hall, just beyond CBC here, but the Emancipation Village is in full swing as well, so make sure you drop on through. And senior media professionals from Barbados are invited to a seminar called New Media Platform Operation and Management in Belt and Road Countries in China. We'll hear about their experience as they visited China. So all that and so much more is coming up. Plus, we are encouraging you to enter our Father's Day competition. So if your dad looks just like you or your little one looks just like you, then this is the opportunity to submit that photo for a chance to win. Remember, all you have to do is to send that photo to marketing at cbc.bb or WhatsApp 4675465, and then we're going to post the videos and Barbados will decide who looks most like dad. I know that the wheels in your head, they're turning because you know lots of children that look just like their dads and lots of dads that look just like their kids. Get those photos in so we can get them up and get Barbados voting for you. And of course, wonderful prizes are in the works. A staycation at Some Bay Hotel, let dad relax a little bit. Gift vouchers, compliments world-class cuts, and a photo shoot compliments 8216 Logistics. That's it from us for today. I certainly hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. And most importantly, make sure you come back for another presentation of Morning Barbados tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.